to Arati Davis to basically kick off the panel and the discussion of the very important Sweden-India Transport Innovation and Safety Partnership. Welcome, Arati.
Thank you very much. The Sweden-India Transport Innovation and Safety Partnership was inaugurated in February 20th, 2020. It brings together 15 partners in a unique triple helix model of industry, academia, and agency. We are very happy to have with us today to inaugurate our panel, the Minister for Transport and the Minister for Innovation. Minister Gadkari, you were with us as recently as November 4th for the Vision Zero Academy Online. I invite you to say a few words about Sitis.
Okay. Yeah.
Minister Gadkari, apologize. He's not able to hear us.
Can you repeat?
Sorry, Minister Gadkari. Sorry, I was also having a little trouble with my voice. You were with us on February 20th when Sitis was inaugurated. You were with us on November 4th when we held our first Vision Zero Academy online. Today, we are so happy to have you here for our panel discussion about co-creation and the future. Please, if you could say a few words to open our panel.
Actually, when I was in Sweden, I got an opportunity to interact with you. Particularly, the road safety was the biggest problem. Particularly in Indian situation, every year we are facing 5 lakhs accidents and 1,50,000 deaths. So now we have decided, and we are taking a lot of efforts. The cooperation of World Bank, we are already taking decisions. Particularly in the Tamil Nadu state, they reduced the road accident and death by 25%. We have already identified the black spots, and we are now improving that. At the same time, we have submitted a proposal to World Bank and ADB to get to improvement of black spots, which are accidental spots in the country. We are also taking a lot of cooperation from our Swedish friends regarding the road safety, and we are using and implementing the policies. We have already, the law is changed. We are now on intelligent traffic system. We are changing our systems and procedures. On the basis of that, we are confident that we will be in position that 100% the promise which I already given in the time of the conference, that 100% we will fulfill that and we will save the life of the people.
Thank you so much, Minister Gadkari, and we look forward to your continued support. For the audience, Vision Zero Academy Online was made possible because of the ministry's support to Automatic Research Association of India. Minister Baylan, I was very happy and lucky to meet you in December at the state visit, where we talked about innovation, co-creation, and the need to work together for the future. We are very happy to have you today, as innovation is the core of the Sitis agenda. I invite you to say a few words as we begin the Sitis panel.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance to say a few words about the importance of both a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable transportation solutions. I mean, just like we heard before from the Honourable Minister earlier this year, many of you took part of the third Global Ministerial Conference on Road Safety here in Stockholm. And I would like to start by saying, on behalf of the Swedish government, I want to say thank you to all of you for making the conference such a success. Each year, as we all know, 1.4 million people are killed in traffic. That means that every day 3,500 people are losing their lives in traffic every day each year. And as we know, also unfortunately, traffic injuries are the most common cause of death among young people globally. So the gathering in Stockholm not only underlined the importance of road safety on the global agenda, it also proved that road safety is a shared responsibility with the presence of the civil society, academia, and the private sector. And this is truly in line with the Vision Zero. During During this conference in Stockholm, my dear colleague, Minister Thomas Eneroth, together with you, Honorable Minister Gadkari, were the guests of honor at the inauguration of the Sweden-India Transport Safety and Innovation Partnership. As Sitis brings together agencies, the business community and academic institutions from both our countries through the triple helix model, I think we have a great opportunity to accelerate innovation and implementation of safe and sustainable transport solutions that will contribute to a significant progress for the transport system. I'm also very pleased to see that this cooperation has already shown results with the online training program On the Road to Vision Zero. So I would like to congratulate RI and Trafikverket through Vision Zero Academy on a successful launch. I also would like to wish you great success with this joint effort to innovate and develop safe and sustainable transport solutions to the benefits of citizens in both India and in Sweden, and already look forward to seeing the future steps in this cooperation. The Swedish government is committed to play our part in the transition to a clean, sustainable, and safe transportation system. And we are very happy and glad to have India as a strong partner in this mission. Thank you, and I wish you luck and success with the seminar.
Baylan, Mr. Gadkari, thank you so much for being with us today. We would like to, in a thank you, actually invite Mr. Kamal Bali, Volvo President and MD, India, but also the Chairman of the Sitis Board, to say thank you for being with us today before we go into the one-on-one. Kamal, if you could say a few words.
Thank you, Arati. Excellencies, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, the Honorable Union Minister for Road Transport, Highways and MSME Sector, Government of India, and Mr. Ibrahim Baylan, Honorable Minister for Business, Industry and Innovation, Government of Sweden. On behalf of all members and team of Sweden Transport Innovation and Safety Partnership, 15 members, it's my proud privilege and honor to thank you both, our most dynamic and inspirational ministers, Mr. Gadkari and Mr. Baylan, for your kind presence, kind words, and the commitment to this very compelling and critical mission of Sitis on road safety and transport innovation. Sir, your presence is always energizing and charges all of us to walk that extra mile. Thank you again, sir. Thank you for your kind presence. We are very grateful to you.
Thank you, sir.
Ministers, and we'll come back to you every year with an update of what Sitis is doing. With that, Kamal, welcome to the India-Sweden Innovation Day. We're very happy to have you with us. Today, we're talking innovation, transport, safety. Now, of course, we've heard today the ministers say that Sitis was inaugurated February 20th, 2020. That's been 8 months now. We've had COVID in that time. What has Sitis been able to achieve despite all the challenges that we've seen this year?
Thanks, Arati, for having me here. Indeed, 9 months back, 15 stakeholders from India and Sweden, from academia, authorities and corporates, each leading in their own capacity with regards to the safety arena, came together to form Sweden-India Transport Innovation and Safety Platform. On that fateful day of February 20, we were fortunate to have the blessings, inspiration, and encouragement from our two honorable ministers, Mr. Nitin Gadkari and Mr. Thomas Eneroth. And we launched Sitis on the sidelines of Stockholm Global Ministerial Conference on Road Safety. Today, 9 months later, I can say with satisfaction that we are already on the road forward and have passed 2 key milestones. In October, we conducted the first Vision Zero Academy training program for senior transport and highway officials in India, fronted by India's ARAI and Swedish Traffic Work Kit under the Sitis umbrella. And earlier this month, on November 19, we marked the completion of several months of trials with Sitis Connected Safety Bus Platform. This platform will now be put on a bus with a customer which is Karnataka State Road Corporation, where the bus will collect real-time data on traffic and associated conditions. We are also working on additional projects for the future, which includes aspects like accident research and crash data collection and analysis from national perspective. So really speaking, thanks to the commitment and passion of 15 partners, support from our authorities, honorable ministers, Sitis has not only taken off rather successfully, but actually is well anchored for the road ahead.
Kamal, for the 9 months that you mentioned, given all the challenges that we've seen, these outputs already are extremely impressive. Sweden India Business Council, of course, is a secretariat for Sitis, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be part of the steering group meetings, to have the discussions with 15 representative experts about what can be done. It is so clear that Sitis is more than projects. It is a platform for the future, a platform of a triple helix model of willing participants. What do you see with this platform going forward? Given the extreme output you've reached already, there's many more years ahead.
Yeah, Arati, you're absolutely right. Sitis is indeed a unique platform of collaboration and partnerships. But let me step back a bit and quickly share with you a little perspective. I think it has already been shared, but I must say that this is a direct outcome of the joint declaration in April 2018 in Stockholm between our two honorable prime ministers. I think the need for solutions in road safety arena is actually very compelling and urgent. It is not just about safety, but a factor closely associated with prosperity of people. And in fact, data and research suggest that lack of safety affects the most vulnerable sections much more. People from low income, women and the young. Hence, the need for solutions in road safety is at the heart of the ambition for sustainable development goals. In India, we have the target to cut fatalities in road accident by 50%, a goal that our Honorable Minister, Mr. Gadkari, is personally committed to, and he has actually advanced the timeline to reach that target to 2025. At the other end, Sweden, which has made significant progress over decades in looking to tap India's strong base in IT and digital technologies to help maintain this progress into the future. The Sitis vision is therefore to leverage the know-how of India and Sweden and accelerate progress and deployment of safe and sustainable transport solutions, as well as actionable policies contributing to significant progress of the Indian transportation system. And as you would note from the acronym Sitis, it is not just about safety, it is about innovation. That's the key, because we believe that the future solutions in road safety will emerge from technologies like AI, machine learning, and a lot of other new technologies. The platform is with 15 members from both Indian and Swedish side, which is doing an excellent job. And we are very pleased that the road ahead and the next projects are very clear in their approach.
Thank you so much, Kamal. And I'm going to leave you with one last question. We have had, and Sitis has had, ministerial representation from its inception. Both governments are committed to moving this forward. In every output that Sitis has had up until now, you've had both governments be present. Now, we've heard both ministers talk about their national objectives, both in terms of innovation, co-creation, and road safety. Now, India has ambitious targets. Sitis is aligning with these targets. Why? What is the relationship between government and Sitis in the way forward?
Yeah, that's a very important and relevant question, Arati. We believe that whatever we do as a collaborative platform, it will be our aim to be closely entwined with nations' objectives and ambitions. It will also be our ambition to connect with other platforms and agencies working in this area to synergize our efforts. Here, we would also like to thank both the Ministry of Transport and Highways Government of India and the Ministry of Infrastructure Sweden for their spontaneous support and motivation. Arati, actually, when you work in a multi-stakeholder environment with the shared vision, and when our work is meant to positively impact various other stakeholders in the ecosystem, including the society, there are many imperatives and expectations such as transparency, competency, trust, purposefulness, and a shared vision, and much more. Among these, let me take one key value of trust. This is very critical in the work we are doing and will become more as we move forward. We have to build integrity and trust into the data we collect and the purpose with which we do it. Other stakeholders need to see the work we do is carried out with a vision to benefit the society over and beyond our respective interests. It is only trust and transparency coupled with the shared vision that can allow us to move with speed and effectiveness. So when we work together, these are values that must be nurtured and become part of the DNA and every step we take. Therefore, partnership with the government, alignment, and intertwining our interests and a common direction is very, very critical to the Sitis vision.
Thank you so much, Kamal. And we will take that forward in our next panel, Partnership, Alignment, and Co-Creation. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So with that, we move into Sitis Sweden-India Transport Innovation and Safety panel discussion. We have with us today a number of experts from the Sitis board. What you've heard previously is why Sitis from both ministries. With Kamal, you've heard what is Sitis. With this panel, we want to show you who is Sitis. And we ask our panelists to come on camera. I co-moderate today's session with Mrs. Soanjit Randava, who is a steering group member of the Sitis steering group, as well as Volvo Group Sustainability Director. Soanjit, if I could ask you to come on camera. While we wait for Soanjit.
Thank you, Arati.
Oh, there you are. Great.
Thank you, Arati. And a warm welcome to all the esteemed panelists we have amongst us today. In Sitis, we now have a unique example of an active triple helix partnership. And I would like to start the panel by asking a common question across the table to all the panelists. And the question is for them to share with us what was their motivation to be part of Sitis and what do they expect it to bring in the next 5 to 10 years. And when you do answer, dear panelists, please do introduce yourself. And Cecilia, let me start with you. Cecilia Sunnevang, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Cecilia Sunnevang. I'm Vice President Research for Autoliv. And within Autoliv, our mission is to develop life-saving solutions for mobility and society. And we have worked for a long time with Indian OEMs as we have a strong presence in India. And as a natural result of that, we understood it is a big issue with road safety. And that's why we joined with different stakeholders in India to share best practices. And that resulted in a booklet with priorities and the best practices in accordance to the Vision Zero and Safe System approach. So when that work was done, it was a natural continuation to join the Sitis project to really demonstrate, to be able to put these best practices into action and to demonstrate innovative solutions to reduce traffic-related injuries and fatalities. And my expectations from now on into the future is that we will have a functional framework to facilitate the implementation of different countermeasures. So improve the situation with countermeasures and moving into the safe system approach, considering education, infrastructures, vehicles, and policy making.
Thank you, Cecilia. That was very encouraging to see that future. And now may I pass the question on to Sudipto Mukherjee from IIT. Do introduce yourself too, please. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sudipto Mukherjee, and I'm professor in mechanical engineering and dean faculty at the Henry Ford Chair Professor. So we have transportation research and injury prevention program in IIT Delhi, which is 30 years old, and it looks at the deleterious effects of mobility. It's been funded UN by MORTH, which is Mr. Gadkari's ministry, Ministry of Heavy Industry, Volvo Foundation, Jari, and small bits from others. And obviously, the Ministry of Education pays my salary. We have been a go-to point for Morth over all the years, but we are still a 15 PhD entity who also do other things, things other than vehicle safety. And as the transport infrastructure is scaling up, and rather massively under this leadership, at a remarkable 40 kilometers a day, some adverse effects are also evident. And the minister mentioned that, we have 1.5 lakh fatalities, 5 lakh crashes. So through this Sitis collaboration, we are looking to increase the critical mass of people concerned with injurious effects of transportation. This would hopefully lead to formation of a group with sufficient expertise to give input to Morth on what is the state of the art and obviously data-centric knowledge for policy decisions. And obviously, I'm a great believer toward the focus that Swedish have towards zero vision. So that's what motivates us to, join together. That's what I have.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. No, that really anchors us through people like you into India's ambition and India itself. May I now move on to Magnus Frodigh, Head of Ericsson Research. Thank you.
Yes, hello. Thanks for being able to be part of the panel here. My name is Magnus Frodigh. I'm Head of Ericsson Research at Ericsson. And we are, of course, joining here because we do believe that the connectivity, the edge compute, the AI on top will be a key factor in order to improve road safety. And we are putting in a lot of research into these areas. And for us, it's very interesting to understand what it really takes, what are the requirements in order to have a fully connected road transportation system. So we are here to learn, but also to contribute with connectivity, which we think is the key in order to be able to data-driven, and that will make it possible to accelerate the progress. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yes, connectivity and many related technologies are going to have a major role when we go forward into developing safety and innovations related to that. With that, I come back to Sweden, to Magnus Granström, and I pass on the question to him from Chalmers University.
Thank you very much, and thank you also for the invitation. And in my daily work, I'm leading a competence center on vehicle and traffic safety, where we have 37 partners today. Some of those are also represented here in the panel, so that is very nice to see. And of course, from a university perspective, we also have what we call an area of advanced transport, which, just as Sitis covers a wider scope than the safety area. So the whole transport, efficient transport, environmentally friendly transport, and so on. All of these topics are very much on our agenda. And also from an academic perspective, then the exchange of students, the possibility to work with PhD students that we might join up together and so on. That is something that we are looking forward to doing within this under this umbrella. And also, as was mentioned in the beginning, with the sensor and testing equipment and data collection equipment that is now running in one of the coaches. That kind of data collection analysis and so on, those are also some of our main topics.
May I pass on the question now to Jonas Jansson from VTI? Jonas, please. I think you're on mute, Jonas, maybe?
Sorry about that. I try again. I'm a research director at VTI for Traffic and Road Users, the Swedish National Road Transport Institute. So, of course, representing a research organization, we are quite focused on building knowledge that helps us achieve our goals for a sustainable transport system. And I think we've already heard from several speakers today the large potential that we at VTI also sees in exchanging knowledge within this partnership. But on top of that, I think we see great opportunities for doing novel research together within Sitis. And indeed, we have already started collecting data from our first pilot test together within the Sitis partnerships. So in the long run, we hope to be an essential part, and the Sitis partnership to be an essential part of building the knowledge base that we need to transition to a sustainable transport system. So especially focusing on new behaviors and new technology. That means especially looking at the trends in electrification, digitalization, and automation that is really accelerating within the transport system. So by that, we hope to really contribute to the knowledge that will bring tomorrow's transportation system. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonas. Thank you very much. Now we will go forward with further questions, and I think I will hand and Arati, would you be able to? Are you on board? Yes.
I think we have Jan Thörnqvist from Saab to also introduce himself and the ASEA and the Sitis program.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
All right. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for reminding that I should also be part of this panel. My profession is traffic management solution for all modes of transport, air, sea and road, and Saab is delivering them all over the world, including India and Sweden. And Saab's contribution to the Sitis platform is our knowledge from all modes of transport. We have a deep and broad knowledge in digitalization and how to manage transport flows in a safe and secure way. And we are market leader for air and sea traffic management solution. In the pilot project, we use our command and control platform SAFE that we have delivered to Transport for London. And Transport for London is on a high level of complexity, where SAFE is the command and control system in the operation center. And in the operation center, Transport for London handle all incident, both buses and underground lines. We also use the SAFE platform to make traffic and passenger flows at airports more secure and efficient. In the Sitis projects is our partner Tech Mahindra responsible for the SAFE integration, and we see many opportunities for both Tech Mahindra and Saab to jointly offer the smart innovation solution in India. So even if we just cover a small part of the India transport system with Sitis, we can do a change together with our Indian and Swedish partner, as we see it. So thank you both for inviting me to the panel and for being a partner in the Sitis platform.
Thank you so much, Jan. And with that, the audience gets to understand who is Sitis and what Sitis is trying to achieve. If we start our questions from policy and then move to practice, I'd like to bring up the Vision Zero Academy online. This was done in a record amount of time between two key partners, Trafikverket and Swedish Vision Zero Academy here and ARAI in India. What this did was provide capacity and understanding for Indian transport experts and to let us know what needs to be done to change our policy and practice. I'd like to ask the first question to Jonas. As a policymaker, an ideator, and a capacity builder, what needs to be done from a policy perspective to move to a Vision Zero point of view and reach that output?
Yeah, thank you. So I think I want to point out one thing, and that is the core values of Vision Zero. I think they have been around for some time and they still hold, and that is Vision Zero is about building a forgiving system where mistakes are allowed and does not lead to death and serious injuries. And that is a system that is built together. So the forgiving system where we share responsibility to make it happen, I think that still holds. But then I would like to highlight two new developments, I would say, that really need to change how we think when we form the transport system. And the first thing is the mindset that comes out from the Stockholm Declaration. So that really points towards the direction where we cannot only look at safety alone, but we need to look at all aspects of sustainability. And that is, I think, a really game changer. So that means we should not only consider safety, but also health and environmental issues together to reach a new solution. And then it's, I think, that the rapid development of technology, that brings so many new opportunities that needs to be considered when we're designing the transport system. And if we think about the sustainable city and what we need to do there, it's not certain that the high speed on a road leads to high capacity. So to achieve a really sustainable solution, we need to consider also environmental and health issues and what is effective, what has high capacity in these settings. So for sure, a high speed is not always a sustainable speed. That is, I think, a new way of thinking about it. And as I said, the technology brings so many opportunities, but it's really up to us how we use it. And we need to be smart about how we use automation, how we use digitalization and electrification. And we need to decide how we shall use that to make a sustainable transport system. So again, it's really up to us. We need to consider also behavior and how we use the technology to achieve the system that we want to have. Thank you.
I'll turn to Soanjit for the next question, but I think the news for me was that policy needs to adjust to human behavior, not the other way around. And Vision Zero Academy really makes that clear in the workshop that we held from November 4th to November 6th. Soanjit, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, when I listened to the Vision Zero comments made, and from what I remember we had in the program, collaboration was one key aspect of the Vision Zero approach. And when we think about collaboration now, I would like to come to Cecilia from Autoliv. And you know, Autoliv is no stranger to India at all. They have been dealing with a lot of stakeholders in India besides the rest of the world. And now in Sitis, we have established a collaborative platform, a triple helix cooperation with 15 members. It's quite unique between Sweden and India. Of course, there are many people. So the question to Cecilia is, what do you think is key to make such a collaboration to work with these competent people, but so many of them too?
Thank you. Yes, it's truly a challenge to be a lot of partners in a big platform, but I think it's facilitated. And what's really important is that we have a strong common goal, and here we really have that in the quest or against the target of developing this safe and sustainable transport system. And also a very hard fact, the Stockholm Declaration that both governments and especially Honourable Minister Gadkari has committed to and even pushed the timeline. So we have a very clear goal and we have a very good setup with the triple helix approach. So I think the key is really the passionate engagement from all stakeholders. To be data-driven and transparent in that we develop the best possible solutions. And it's to utilize the strength of each partner and really to move into action. So that would be my point of view.
Yeah.
So much, Cecilia.
Yes, shared vision is truly a key thing which brings us together.
Thanks, Andrej. We'll go to the next question, and the question of data, the question of innovation when it comes to road safety is critical. We've been talking about Vision Zero Academy, which is a capacity building understanding, but we've also had the inauguration of the pilot project for data loggers on the ground in Bangalore. My next question is to Saab and to Ericsson, to Jan and to Magnus. What is the role of innovation when it comes to road safety? What can be done given the immense problems and the immense commitment that's been made by both governments to reach Vision Zero? Jan, I'd like to start with you. While we wait for Jan, maybe I can move to Magnus from Ericsson. Magnus, what do you have to share in terms of innovation and Sitis? I know Ericsson has been a part of the pilot project quite extensively when it comes to data and research.
Yes, I think the key here is to really have the full transportation system connected, the cars, of course, but all the other actors and all the goods and having sort of the ability to make a full digital representation of the transport system where everything, all objects are represented by the digital twins in this fully digital representation. By being able to move this into such a digital environment, I think we can reach a lot of insights in how we can make the transport system more efficient, more safe, etc. So that's of course one aspect, and then of course there will be a lot of intelligent vehicles, obviously. So it's not only a central thing, right? It's a very distributed system. So it's of course very important that we could provide then connectivity between these intelligent cars, the intelligent machines. So we can support sort of the distributed AI learning schemes that are going on in order to have a real-time capable system here. So I very much believe that the platform that we will need to provide here in order to get forward is about, of course, the collecting all the relevant data, move that into an edge compute environment, establish then the digital representation, the digital twins, and then make optimization on that digital environment, and then back into control demands on how to control and steer the traffic flows, etc. In order to realize then the plan achieved in this digital environment. So I'm very much leaning towards the availability of the data here and the capability of processing that. So that would be my input on that. So now we see Jan here. So
joined us.
Over to you, Jan.
Thank you. I have some problem with my IT. We all know that speed, drugs, tiredness, and road rage is the root cause for many traffic accidents. And we also know that the driver is responsible for all this. And depending on how you count, is the driver the root cause for over 98% of all traffic accidents. The easy answer on how to make the traffic safer is to get rid of the driver, of course. And one way to do that is with autonomous cars. The challenge here is it will take time before the main part of all traffic is replaced with autonomous vehicles. Another quick way to reduce the number of drivers is to get more travelers go by public transport. And to attract as many passengers as possible, you need a public transport system that is efficient. You can't lose too much time compared with driving car or motorbikes. Safe. You need to feel safe and secure on the bus, the platform, safe and secure from accident, assaults, and thieves. And safe is also, you need to train the driver and give him more driving assistance to get a safe journey. The system must be predictable and reliable. You need a system where you arrive on time and can handle all the disturbance like engine failure and congestions in traffic, high capacity, for example, bus rapid transit system, and also environmentally friendly as possible, both for climate and pollutions. So it's a challenge to develop public transport that is efficient, safe and robust and environmentally friendly. And here we see innovation as one enabler. So the main focus for Saab is traffic control, traffic management, digitization and electrification, where we see many opportunities for upcoming innovations that can contribute to develop an improved public transport system. So the main focus for us is transport system and public transport. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jan. Of course, the inauguration of the pilot project is a step in that direction. Now, Sitis has a 5-year ambition, and as we discussed earlier, is not a project, but a platform of willing stakeholders. And I thank all of you today for sharing your ideas. And as we move towards the end of the panel discussion, I hand over to Soanjit for the last question.
Yep, thank you, Arati. Thinking about innovation, actually, innovation probably has one route, and that's to get insights in what's happening in our safety landscape. And insights come from data and evidences. And that brings me to the question about evidence-based approach. And I'm going to pose this question to Professor Mukherjee in IIT and Magnus Granström from Chalmers. The question is, how do you approach evidence-based approach in a country so large and diverse as that is India? And added to that, even India and Sweden, the two partners we are together, have quite unique circumstances. So the question to both of you is, what kind of challenges you have to overcome with an evidence-based approach dealing with a country like India and the differences between India and Sweden? May I start?
Question. We would start with Chalmers. Magnus, if you'd like to take that question.
I'm sorry, I think I got disconnected. So
that's no problem.
Yes, and of course it's a very, very valid question. And as you say, we have a large variety. We have variety within our countries, and we have a large differences between our countries. But we do also have quite large similarities as well, because we have to address similar kinds of challenges. And now coming back to what has been mentioned a number of times here regarding the data and sort of this chain of having data, from the data you get information, and from the information you can gain knowledge. So that is really what we are focusing on, then, to make sure that we do understand from both perspectives. We use the experience that we have. We've been using working with the Vision Zero concept here for more than 20 years. We do have quite a lot of understanding in this complex connection also between the technology and the forward steps in technology, but also, as Jonas was mentioning, the human behavior. How do we act? Why do we do things in the way that we do them, and so on? So I think this data, information, and knowledge, that are some of the crucial aspects. And another thing that I would just like to point out is that for us, it's also very important to see that we have this kind of collaboration, that we can also have joint funding, because we have to run these projects so that they go hand in hand. And it doesn't really make sense if you run a Swedish project and then a separate Indian project. We have to do this jointly and hand in hand. And Sitis provides that kind of platform so that we can do that. I think that is one of the most important parts.
Yes, and you mentioned joint funding and joint collaboration. I reach out for the closing words of the panel to Professor Sudipto Mukherjee from IIT to talk about what IIT sees in this diverse platform between India and Sweden, and how you create projects with evidence-based research.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things we tend to forget is that it does not matter who and where in the world you fall ill, you still take a maximum of 1 gram per dose of paracetamol and 4 grams per day. You don't exceed that. So, the method for arriving at the right policy decisions that we talked about, epistemology in our terms, is the same, irrespective of the place. And, that's what Magnus just talked about, that the experience is there. And so we are collecting data from the instrumented bus, but when we make inferences concerning the relevance to the overall population, we can only do it statistically or through simulations. And specifically, if you look at, injury risk, it's dependent on exposure, dosage, and crash severity. Of this, the only difference between Sweden and India is exposure. So since the other two are same, we have a lot to give and take from each other in terms of experience. And I think the special, if Sweden wants to take something away, it's because of the large volume we have in India. So you can see the tails of distribution, which perhaps, is statistically insignificant in Sweden, which you can see in India because of the larger numbers. And maybe the other takeaway would be, the local innovation. Which is all over India because it's just relatively less standardized, unregulated. And so if you start evaluating it, we can lead to new solutions and new standards. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Professor Mukherjee, and I think with that, we come to the end of the panel. What I'd like to say to our audience is come back next year. Sitis is here to stay, and you've got a taste and a flavor of the experts making things happen literally on the road. Thank you so much. And with that, I hand over to Sanju Malhotra to take us to our next session of the India-Sweden Innovation Day.
Thank you so much, Arati. That was a very interesting session, and I think we have got a lot of insights. I'll now like to present a startup called Tumok. It's India's first multimodal connectivity app exclusive for public transport. It helps users travel from one point to the other by providing them with the best possible public transport routes within a city and connect the first and last mile to and from public transport stations through various ride options to make the public transport stations accessible to every doorstep. Based out of Bangalore, Tumok has been in this endeavor for the last 4 years with 6,000 users and growing, and have received multiple accolades from various government and ecosystem enablers.
Hi, my name is Hiranmay. I am the CEO and co-founder for Tumok, which is the reverse of commute. Where we are trying to reverse the reducing share of public transport in the country by transforming the first and last mile connectivity with a single ticketing. By addressing two incredible gaps, the real-time information of the public transport and dedicated first and last mile connectivity to and fro public transport. With that, would like to introduce Tumok as India's first multimodal connectivity platform, which helps commuter travel from one point to the other by providing them best possible public transport routes, and upon selecting a route, give them dedicated first and last mile connectivity through various ride options to give them a travel transition and make the public transport stations accessible to every doorstep. It doesn't stop there. It also let the user know how much carbon that they're going to save in the journey and plant a tree on behalf of the user. So the benefiting the communities of the commuter, communities of the partners, creating jobs, benefiting the government bodies, and most importantly, benefiting the society with a team led by Hiranmay, me, Monalisha and Narayan, leading from the front with a team well aligned with the vision to make the public transport stations accessible to every doorstep. And for this initiative, we have been recognized by various stakeholders of this ecosystem, and in the next 1 year of time, we would like to reach to 1 million users to be the best public transport connectivity company in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Tumok. That was really interesting to listen to you. And now we have our expert panel back. Welcome back, Anil.
Thank you.
And welcome back, Jenny and Paul. And yes, so you have been now listening, both, of course, to start with the energy partnership, and then it was the inauguration where we had the two ministers present and give their insights into the Sweden-India collaboration and opportunities in the future. And then, of course, the very important on the safety of transportation, which is, of course, a key issue in India. And can I ask you, Anil, for some reflections on the different talks we've had today?
Yeah, I'll very quickly, I'll kind of give my take away. And this is a reflection. If I rewind the tape 20 years back when I was working in India in Ericsson, and the level of engagement between Swedish and Indian companies did not exist at all in the way that it does today. So what we had in India at the time was the traditional large, the Swedish big export companies like Volvo and Ericsson and ABB, etc., etc. What we see today is fascinating. I mean, you have the smallest of companies who has an India plan and an India ambition, and are actually making their way, especially in the sector, in the energy sector. So that was kind of one, thing which struck me, how different and how far we've come. And the second, I think, is the challenge to communicate India's issues when it comes to road safety.
Right.
India is the biggest market in the world for two-wheelers. I mean, that brings a whole set of new challenges. Whatever works in India and the solutions one finds there obviously will be relevant to other markets. So I'm thinking, it's kind of reverse innovation, that we need to look at what works, in those very dense traffic environments and, often viewed as chaotic and so on.
Right.
And see, what we can take out of that.
Thanks, Anil. Jenny, could you also give your reflections, please? Otherwise, if we have Paul online, would you be able to give us your reflection?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. No, thank you so much for this very interesting morning, and I'm very impressed. And one word that was mentioned was that the cooperation between Sweden and India has now been institutionalized, and that's one key take I take away. And also seeing now the startup of this Sitis platform, which is one example of that. I took away also a few other things that were mentioned. From, for example, IIT Delhi, that the need for increasing a critical mass of competence to support policy. I think that is very well put, and I do believe that the Vision Zero, Online Academy, etc., are good examples of that, on how to increase the competence. I also heard about that the Vision Zero goals hold for the future, and that has been a success. But also that the Stockholm Declaration is important going forward. It was also mentioned by Kamal of Volvo that the lack of safety affect the young and the less fortunate more. So the connection to the SDGs, I think, is very, very important. So that's were some of the takeaways that I took. Also, something that Autoliv mentioned in the same line is joining the Sitis is an opportunity also to see the functional framework for road safety going forward in India. Very, very interesting and very good.
Okay, thank you. And I think, Jenny, are you there? Otherwise, no problem. We will now move to the next